In the opening start date of Europa Universalis IV, why do the Ottomans have a truce with most of Eastern Europe? Why do the kingdoms of Hungary, Poland, and Bohemia have interregnums instead of monarchs on their thrones? Why does a union of Poland and Lithuania occur so shortly after the start date? Let's tackle these questions by researching and looking at the Crusade of Varna. Before we dive into the Crusade itself, let's go back a little further in history to give us an idea of what had been going on in Eastern Europe prior to the Crusade. In 1428, the Kingdom of Hungary and the Serene Republic of Venice were at war with the Ottomans, with King Sigismund, Holy Roman Emperor and King of Bohemia, Hungary, Croatia, and Germany leading the Christian alliance, and Sultan Murad II Osmanoglu ruling over the Ottomans. To achieve a temporary peace, the Despotate of Serbia was made a buffer state between Hungary and the Ottomans, with Durad Branković, Despot of Serbia, being a vassal of Sigismund. Peace would officially be established in 1430, with the Ottomans instead focusing on conquering everything south of the Danube, capturing Thessalonica the same year. In 1432, Murad II started striking into Transylvania, increasing his attacks after Sigismund died in late 1437. In 1439, Durad Branković's capital, Smederevo, fell to the Ottomans, and Durad fled to his estates in Hungary. Murad II tried to besiege the fortress of Belgrade in 1440, but failed, and instead traveled to Anatolia to stop an invasion by the Karamanids. King Sigismund was succeeded on the Hungarian throne in December 1437 by Albert II von Habsburg, Duke of Austria and later King of Bohemia, King-elect of Germany, and King of the Romans. Albert tried to defend Hungary against the Ottoman threat, but died aged 42 in October 1439, leaving Bohemia, Hungary, Austria, and Croatia to his unborn son Ladislaus Postumus von Habsburg. However, the nobles of Bohemia refused to acknowledge Ladislaus and remained without a king, and in July 1440, the nobles of Hungary and Croatia gave the throne to Ladislaus III Jagiellon, King of Poland and just 16 years old. Only Austria acknowledged Ladislaus Postumus, with Frederick III appointed as regent until Ladislaus could take the throne. Civil war erupted in Hungary between those who supported Ladislaus Postumus, who was born in February 1440, and those who supported Ladislaus III Jagiellon, King of Poland. With the support of the legendary Hungarian general John Hunyadi, Ladislaus III secured his position in Hungary, and by the end of 1442 was the undisputed king of Hungary and Croatia, bringing peace to the kingdom and turning his attention to the Ottomans. Eager to check Ottoman expansion into Eastern Europe, the Roman Catholic Church had long wanted a crusade against the Ottomans, and in late 1442, Ladislaus III Jagiellon, John Hunyadi, Pope Eugene IV, and Durad Branković began planning an offensive. A crusading bull was issued by Pope Eugene IV January 1, 1443, and war was declared against Murad II in April 1443. Ladislaus III Jagiellon, with John Hunyadi and Durad Branković under his command, crossed the Danube River in mid-1443 with 40,000 men, occupying Nice and Sofia, and defeated significant Ottoman forces at the Battle of Nice in November 1443. However, the Christian alliance was checked at the Battle of Slaitsa on 12th of December 1443 while advancing toward Adrianople, now called Edirne. The Christians were forced to retreat to Hungary, but not before defeating pursuing Ottoman forces in the Battle of Kunovica in January 1444. The Christians arrived in Buda in February 1444 as heroes and planned a new offensive for the spring. Murad II, however, was desiring of peace, and in March 1444 sent an emissary to Durad Branković to begin negotiations. In April 1444, Ladislaus III Jagiellon sent ambassadors to Edirne to negotiate peace, simultaneously promising the papacy a continuation of the crusade. The Peace of Szeged was reached in August 1444, establishing a 10-year truce, with the Ottomans paying an indemnity of 100,000 gold florins, returning 24 Serbian cities to Durad Branković, including the capital Smederevo, and withdrawing from Albania. However, Ladislaus III fully intended on breaking the truce, despite the protests of Durad Branković. With all transfers of territory completed by mid-September 1444, Ladislaus III and John Hunyadi prepared for a renewed offensive against the Ottomans. During the peace negotiations with the Christians from June to August in 1444, the Ottomans faced an attack from the Karamanids in eastern Anatolia, with Murad II rushing to the east to check their invasion. With peace established with the Christians and the Karamanids in August 1444, Sultan Murad II abdicated the throne in favor of his 12-year-old son Mehmed II and retired to southwestern Anatolia. However, with the news of the Christian invasion in September 1444, Mehmed II recalled his father to the Ottoman throne to lead the army against the Christian alliance. Initially, Murad II refused, but allegedly Mehmed II wrote to his father, "If you are the Sultan, come and lead your armies. If I am the Sultan, I hereby order you to come and lead my armies." With this letter, Murad II agreed to lead the Ottoman army. The Christians, meanwhile, had advanced swiftly, following the Danube and bypassing Ottoman fortresses at Vidin, Nikopol, and Tarnovo. Papal, Venetian, and Genoese ships had blockaded the Dardanelles, with a main Christian army of about 15,000 advancing toward Varna. In addition, on the 10th of October 1444, the Christians were joined by about 7,000 Wallachian troops, bringing the total Christian army to about 22,000 men, composed mainly of Hungarians, Polish, and Bohemian troops, with smaller detachments of Bosnians, Croats, Bulgarians, Lithuanians, and Teutonic Knights. On late November 9, 1444, an army of about 50,000 Ottoman troops led by Murad II approached Varna from the west, encircling the Christians between the Black Sea, Lake Varna, and the Franga Plateau. Faced with few options, Ladislaus III and John Hunyadi resolved to stand and fight, and on the morning of November 10th, Hunyadi deployed the Christian army along a line 3.5 kilometers wide, the Ottomans attacking shortly after. Although close at times and hard fought, the Battle of Varna was a decisive defeat for the Christians, with some 15,000 killed and Hunyadi organizing a desperate, disorganized retreat. In addition, King Ladislaus III was beheaded and killed, his body nor head ever recovered, leaving Hungary and Poland without a king. Despite winning the Battle of Varna, Murad II had suffered such significant losses in the battle that it took 3 days for him to realize he was victorious. However, the Christian army had been virtually annihilated, with Hunyadi in full retreat to Hungary. Murad II could finally retire from being Sultan in favor of his son Mehmed II. And so, on the 11th of November 1444, we end up with the start date of Europa Universalis IV. In Serbia, Dorad Brankovic retains his possessions, but elderly and surrounded by threats, he remains vigilant. In Hungary and Poland, interregnums exist, their thrones vacant. John Hunyadi eventually was elected regent for Ladislaus Postumus in June 1446, and the Kingdom of Poland elected Casimir IV Jagiellon, Grand Duke of Lithuania and younger brother of Ladislaus III, as king, uniting Poland and Lithuania in a personal union. And finally, on the Ottoman throne sits Mehmed II Osmanoglu, 12 years old and with Eastern Europe ripe for conquest.